Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, in Paulskirche building, it is a great honor to welcome you here for the award ceremony of the International High Rise Award 2024-2025. A warm welcome to all those joining us via the live stream. A very warm welcome to the three partners of our award. Dr. Matthias Danne, Vice Chairman of the Board of DK Bank. A very warm welcome, Dr. Matthias Danne. And thank you for your support. A warm welcome, dear colleague, our City Councillor for Culture, Dr. Ina Hartwig. I would also like to welcome the Director of German Architectural Museum, dear Peter. I missed the jury meetings while I was still part of the City Planning Committee. A very warm welcome to Peter Kachola-Schmal. I would like to send a special greeting to the members of the international jury and the finalists who are here. And many citizens of the city of Frankfurt are here. I would like to welcome a very well-known person, the honorary citizen, Dr. Petra Roth, who is the honorary citizen of the city of Frankfurt and used to be the Lord Mayor of Frankfurt. Warm welcome to you. I am very happy to see that we have a lot of participants who represent culture, architecture, the science and foundations. A warm welcome to the Vice Chairman of the City Council, Dr. Christoph Rosenbaum, who is representing our Chairwoman of the City Council and all members of the City Council and the city government. I would also like to welcome the moderator. I think that you're a very great moderator, Marion Kochini. Thank you for being our moderator again. And one would think that this is a concert and not an award-winning ceremony. So a lot of musical instruments, and of course the city of Frankfurt always has music. I would like to say thank you to Sebastian Wieland, alumnus of the Bundesjugendorchester. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here tonight for the 11th award ceremony of the International High Rise Award here in Paulskirche, Frankfurt. The finalists are invited, and I would kindly welcome all of you tonight. A warm welcome to all our participants. High-rise buildings are really a significant part of our city of Frankfurt. We're like the only European city with a big skyline like that. It's part of our identity, so it's only logical that the International High-Rise Award ceremony takes place here in Frankfurt. And Petra Roth remembers the discussion. A couple of decades, discussions were different. The skyline is part of Frankfurt's identity, and the reconciliation with the skyline and the high-rise buildings and skyscrapers has taken place a long time ago, which is just nice. So it's only logical that this award and the award ceremony takes place here in Frankfurt. It's now one of the most international awards for high-rise buildings, and it's now 20 years in Frankfurt. Frankfurt being the only German city that is renowned for its skyline, for its high rises. That's unique for our city. We would like to develop this further. So we are very happy to continue with this great tradition tonight. In 2003, I wasn't even living in Frankfurt then. The German Architectural Museum DK Bank and the City of Frankfurt has initiated this award. In 2004, we had the first award ceremony in Paulskirche. The award money is 50,000 euros, and it is one of the most renowned awards with the Statuette Award from Peter Demann. Thank you to Dr. Matthias Danne and Peter Carola Schmal for this partnership in the last couple of years. And for each and every tradition, you need people who continue the tradition. Dear Mr. Danne, dear Peter, thank you that you keep the good tradition up for more than 2 decades. So sometimes it's just a couple of people who make and break a tradition. Thank you so much for helping us here, for being really behind the success of this award-winning ceremony. The winning projects are role models and are being copied. You do not always have to reinvent the wheel. That's not only true for architects, but also for project developers and for city planning authorities worldwide. The last winner 2 years ago was K Quarter Tower in Sydney of the Danish architecture company 3XM. The founder, Kim Herford Nielsen, is here tonight. A warm welcome to Kim Herford Nielsen, who is here tonight in Frankfurt. Great to have you here. So with this project, we saw that an existing tower doesn't have to be demolished, but can be safeguarded and extended. This sustainable solution, saving CO2 and being sustainable, shows a novel way, a necessary attitude that is now very well established. For the new high-rise zoning and building plan that was just about to be drafted, we had lengthy discussions, very controversial. And I'd like to clarify, the high-rise zoning plan is very important for Frankfurt because it clusters, it gives structure, and it gives an image. And especially for the development of high-rises, that's very important because that creates acceptance. And what is more important for city planning than the acceptance? So it was absolutely right that the high-rise zoning plan was a role model for our entire country. So we have started something very good and we shall continue this cooperation. It is the basis for the development of our skyline and shows the big lines. We have the sides of the buildings plus new requirements for a more modern urban life, like a diversity of usage, the quality of staying in the public space, and the urban situation in our city of Frankfurt. It plays more and more an important role. Why would I like to highlight this? Well, this high-rise zoning plan shows the zeitgeist. It shows mobility, sustainability, mix of usage. These are things that are changing over the years, over the decades, and finding an adequate answer and creating the basis for an acceptance. And this is something where our high-rise zoning plan and our city of Frankfurt with a beautiful skyline is a very good example. The first project after having created the new high-rise framework plan is being planned Kaiser Carré next to Taunusanlage and Neue Mainzer Straße, where we currently have the pop-up location of the opera. We also have very renowned companies, some of them in the jury and for the nominated members here. We do not have a Frankfurt building among the finalists, but some names are names who have been active in Frankfurt. And Peter, one day we'll have a Frankfurt high-rise building as part of the finalists. So Frankfurt is working with leading players and their expertise, know-how and planning for the implementation and construction of high-quality high-rises. Today's finalists, they stand for the transformation of existing buildings, mixed-use concepts in different cities around the world. They show the existing structure, the creation of new developments, and also we try to revive the urban public space. We would like to show that some city quarters and neighborhoods become also tourist magnets, and it shows that this type of project has a positive impact on the environment and this neighborhood. And we hope that this will be a part of our new mixed-use project in Frankfurt, the 4, that will be completed in the next month. So we will see the effect of these new high-rises because they will be open step by step. I think this morning the press conference, dear Ina, took place on the 53rd floor with a beautiful view because our partner, Dicker Bank, has rented office space, a very wise decision to move into this beautiful high-rise building. You see, many of the international solutions are part of what we are doing, and it's interesting to see how Dicker Bank, Deutsches Architekturmuseum, and the cultural department of our city develops, grows. International High-Rise Award is discussing leading high-rise projects and is fostering and promoting the discussion on sustainable building practice in a day and age where cities are changing, are being transformed, and sustainable development is more and more important. We have a lot of twin cities, so I visited the twin cities, and the challenges in our twin cities and other big cities are always the same. You do not always have to reinvent the wheel. You can learn from the best. You can see what others are doing in order to adapt it for our city. So that's why we have this type of award. And the Frankfurt site is the ideal site to present this vision, to celebrate this vision. So I would like to have a successful future for this award, for our city, and I hope that there will be a lot of new insights and findings that will have a good impact on cities like our city. And I'm very much looking forward to hear about the winning project of the International High-Rise Award 2024-25. Have a nice evening and have nice and controversial discussions afterwards, because high-rises, you can always have controversial discussions about it. Thank you. That was Mike Joseph. Thank you so much. And now, good evening and a warm welcome here in Frankfurt Paulskirche, and a warm welcome also to those who join us via live stream. My name is Marion Kucheni, and I'm very, very happy to be the moderator tonight. Tonight we shall award the International High-Rise Award 2024-2025. This is an award, as we've just heard, initiated 20 years ago by three partners: the City of Frankfurt, Dicker Bank, and Deutsches Architekturmuseum. So we are very happy to come up with concepts, with ideas from 5 finalists, and we are very much looking forward to learn who will win. Let us start the award-winning ceremony, as it is the tradition, with music. Sebastian Wieland. Sebastian Wieland is an artist who has started his career. He is supported by a Bundesjugendorchester that is supported by Dicker Bank. At the age of 13, he won a competition with Bundesjugendorchester. He was the youngest finalist in the category Solo Percussion for the German Musical Award 2021. So audience and critics are enthusiastic about him, about his artistic flexibility, his great artistic performance and excellence. The very well-known Austrian multi-percussionist Martin Grubinger says, and I quote Martin Grubinger, "He is an exceptional musician, and I've listened to him many times, and I'm fully convinced of his quality and performance." We will now hear something from a Greek composer and architect, Yannis Xenakis. His music is very much driven by mathematical and acoustic laws, clear structures, as you will hear, order and innovation, and we will hear about the outer form. That's significant for his composition. In 1999, he received the unofficial Nobel Prize for Music, the Polar Music Award. So let us now see Ribbons B from Yannis Xenakis in the interpretation of the multi-percussionist Sebastian Wieland. Sebastian, the floor is yours.
Bonds being by Yanis Xenakis. And now I'd like to ask the three partners on the International High Rise Award to join me on stage. Please welcome, representing the city of Frankfurt, Dr. Ina Hartwig, for DK Bank, Dr. Matthias Danner, and for the German Architecture Museum, Peter Katschola-Schmal. Now, the International High Rise Award has been awarded since 2004 every 2 years in partnership with the city of Frankfurt, DK Bank, and the German Architecture Museum. And buildings of more than 100 meters height can compete, and they must be future-oriented in their design and their functionality. They should use innovative building technologies. They should integrate well with the cities, and they should be sustainable and profitable. Dr. Hartwig, how come that the International High Rise Award is closely connected with your department that deals with all things cultural? Well, first of all, we have the wonderful German Architecture Museum, which is a museum of the city of Frankfurt. So we do have a link to this topic of architectural arts. And I'm very happy about this, and I keep learning a lot because of this award. It reflects changes in building, and it shows how architecture is not just have an impact on buildings, but also on societies. And the development of the building culture is important because it always is in a dialogue with the societal discourse. Sustainability is only one aspect, and sustainability also has to do with social aspects, because high rises are not just buildings. They reflect their times, their needs, and the needs of a city. And museums are also part of my department, and they cover culture, but they're also buildings, after all, which sometimes look very interesting from the architectural point of view. And the award for extraordinary architecture is also a statement on the role of architecture in the social and cultural structure of our city. Because of this award is a great opportunity for us to join the discourse of the times. Thank you, Peter Katschola. What are the possibilities of the International High Rise Award in the German Architecture Museum? Well, there are many possibilities and opportunities. We're very happy to be able to further extend our competence in architecture, and we can learn how the world of high rises changes and develops further. Who is who plays a role, and how an architecture is impacted. A lot of this we see en miniature in Frankfurt when it's built. And this work has been very continuous over the past 20 years. And we learn a lot, and we share the learnings via the exhibition and the award ceremony. And this is like an educational mission in a further sense, in a further going sense, and we can also look at the winner. Well, good things come in threes. What is the importance of the award for DK Bank? Well, this answer is simple, because often people ask me this. It's a perfect combination for us, because as an organization under public law, we are committed to our societal engagement, and we also do business. And with the International High Rise Award, we've been able to combine business with our societal commitment, and these opportunities are rare. And this is the explanation why over the past 20 years we've enjoyed this award so much. And in the meantime, we're also proud of the great cooperation with the city of Frankfurt and the Architecture Museum. And we can really make a splash with this. So these are the main reasons why we like to be involved. Well, this year, 31 projects from 13 countries were shortlisted, were nominated. 5 of these were shortlisted as the finalists. And what was decisive? What did the jury look at particularly, Mr. Schmal? Well, we make sure that everything is excellent. This is a matter of course design. structure, execution, urban integration, and sustainability. But what is very important is the context. Does the house improve its context? Does it return something? Do the people who live in the environment also benefit, not just the users or the people who live there? And has the city quarter become better? Is that house a good neighbor? That's the most important item right now. And we don't want hermetic buildings which are powerful and exclude everyone. We want the opposite. And this is something that we demand today, and we've seen this, and we've learned a lot more, and these learnings have influenced the planning department too. Well, and 2 of the 5 finalists fulfilled the standards that Mr. Schmal mentioned in the best way. Before we give you the answer, we'll keep things exciting, and we want to introduce the candidates. Mr. Schmal, who is the first finalist. Well, we should see the picture. This is Icon Residences in Quito, Ecuador, South America, of Big Björke Engels Group. This was the team from New York. And you can see there's a fascinating building. It's a residential high-rise in South America. What is so special about this project? Well, it's a very beautiful building. It's very sculptural. It's in the middle of the city, and it manages to combine the nature of the park next door and to combine it with the high-rise. There are terraces with trees. They will grow, hopefully. And these 200 apartments are kind of pushed through, and you can have cross-ventilation, and there's lots of leisure space for the people who live there. Now the second finalist. Now this is Capital Spring in Singapore. The same practice, Big Björke Engels Group, but this is the Copenhagen team, together with CRA Calrati Associati from Turin and New York. Now, Singapore is one of the most exciting hotspots in high-rise building. Dr. Dana, what is so interesting about this building? Well, first of all, it's a very elegant facade, which is fascinating when you approach the building. Then it's the interior, too. There's a combination of residential units, of hotel spaces, retail. So there's a traditional hawker market, a food court. Then the green spaces. What is interesting about the building is that you have 140% worth of the plot size as green areas. How does it work? Only if you stack them on top of each other in a vertical sense. So this is highly fascinating. I'd like to quote what the jury said. This is a great example for a piece of real estate that allows people to live and work in that space, and that really makes a major contribution to the improvement of the urban environment. Who is the third finalist? This is the Shenzhen Women and Children Center in China, made by MVRDV from Amsterdam. Rotterdam. Wrong. Sorry. Dr. Hartwig, this building is different than the other finalist buildings. This is a revitalization of an existing building. So this is really appropriate for the sustainability debate, right? Exactly. And this is what enthused us so much. You can see the colors, because this is a center for women and children. The Shenzhen Women and Children Center. And this is a perfect example of innovative revitalization in an urban space. This building is from 1994 originally. As you can see, it was turned into a lively, colorful skyscraper. The sustainable concept is great. 80% of the original concrete structure were maintained, and this led to huge CO2 savings. And with the new aluminum facade and the thought-through spatial concept, this center is not just inviting for women and children, but it's also a social meeting place in the middle of a major city, and the colorful facade brightens your mood, and this creates a clear link between the different uses. The interior patio was turned into a public space with cafes and playgrounds, and this fosters interaction between people. And there are different uses of high rises that this epitomizes. It's an inspiring example how architecture and urban planning can improve the quality of life. And for those of you who were here like 2 years ago, this reminds us a bit of the award winner of 2022, because they also converted an existing building and integrating it in a new high-rise. Now, the next finalist, Mr. Spal, number 4, well, this is from Amsterdam. In fact, this is The Valley by MVRDV from Rotterdam, Marita. And we know the owner, Edge. Now, Dr. Dana, Valley in Amsterdam, what is so remarkable about this building, which looks really interesting? Well, where can I start? Just look at the design. It's highly interesting. This is in Zuiders, which is an office area. I know what I'm talking about. There are 4 major office buildings there. I work there sometimes. So this is a very sober-looking area, and this is the first approach, first attempt to loosen up this urban structure there. This contains retail, catering, and cultures like and nature. It's like Candid Amateur I talked about. And the first building of this kind, this is a rather cold-looking business environment, and this building breathes fresh life into this area. And I looked at this. It's a wonderful vertical village. We used to have a vertical forest, I think, and this really is the fitting vertical village, rather. So the images, the pictures are really impressive. Now the last finalist, if you've read through the cards, you will already know who finalist number 5 is. Yes, this is Bunker Tower in Eindhoven in the Netherlands from Bau's company in Rotterdam. And their founder, Nanderu, studied in Frankfurt. We haven't had this before. Just like the Shenzhen project, the Bunker Tower works with an existing building, but in a different way. What were the decisive aspects of the jury? You don't see the existing building. It's very small. It's more a single story. It's really like a bunker, a student administration building, and that was kept. It wasn't torn down, and it inspired the remainder of the tower. And with this, from this they got the shape, and this turned into a mixed-use residential unit with flats on top. Very impressive indeed. Well, thank you to the 3 partners. Thank you, Dr. Hartwig, Peter Carola Schmal, Dr. Danner. Thank you for sharing your impressions of the finalists with us, and maybe you already have your personal favorite.
And now the part that is quite a challenge for me will start. Nevertheless, quite exciting.
The highlight of this evening. We have presented our 5 finalists with their projects. We would like to let them have their say now. Before the winner is announced and will be holding this statuette in his hand, her hand, a statuette that is a work by the internationally renowned artist Thomas Demand. And this will be the prize for the architect and his team. The prize money of 50,000 euros goes to a third party that both the developer and the architect have agreed on. So that's why from this point I switch on to English. And with that, I now ask the representatives of our 5 finalists, actually 4, to the stage. Vinish Sethi, Associate of BIG, Big Bjarke Ingels Group, New York. Please have a seat here. Brian Young, partner of Big Bjarke Ingels Group, Copenhagen. Have a seat here. Jacob van Rijs, partner and principal architect of MVRDV Rotterdam. Sven Torresen, director of MVRDV Rotterdam. Nana de Rue was also supposed to be on stage this evening, but unfortunately cannot be here tonight due to unexpected commitments. He had to cancel his trip, and so we start with you five. Vinesh Sethi, how did you come up with this idea of creating such a stunning sculpture right in the middle of the city?
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Well, Quito is the capital of Ecuador, and traditionally it has been low, dense buildings. There has not been any high-rise or skyscrapers in this. 10 years ago, the city center airport got relocated, and there was an opportunity to build something first of its kind in Quito. Uribe, Schwarzkopf, and Big worked together to come up with something like more, to plan something more iconic in this site. I mean, the site is perfectly located because it has got the park next to it, La Carolina Park, and the city on the other side. So it has the best views, and we had to really exploit that. The views to the park, the views to the volcanic peaks. And that actually triggered to have this, stacking boxes and maximizing the views all on the south and west side. To really come with this more iconic contemporary design language.
And is this the nearby park influenced the design that you wanted to have the views on this?
Absolutely. Park? I think the views is one thing, which was, as I said, I think it was the best and the big trigger. And second thing is we also wanted to bring the park to the building, all the way up. So if you see a design on the west side, we have larger terraces, and the park, we have planted the trees on every balcony on the west side, which is basically bringing the park all the way to the top of the podium rooftop. And the best part is Quito is known for its biodiversity. I mean, it has got the most diverse plant species per square meter. So we thought, why not? We should use that diverse plants on the facade. So actually, we have used all different native plants all along the facade, which meant that the building you would see a colorful facade. Over the years, in the 5 years' time, when the plants will grow up, the trees would grow up, it would be a colorful facade. Which also celebrates the Quito's biodiversity here, because Quito is known for that, and we wanted to exploit that. So actually, it's the views, it's biodiversity. They are something we wanted to encash.
So we're looking forward to a really stunning site in about 5 years, you said.
Well, I think the tree's already there.
Okay.
The most colorful facade you would see in 5 years.
Okay, we're looking forward to that. Brian Young from BIG Capita Springs, Singapore. How was it for you to work on such a stunning project in a city where your father originally came from?
It's funny you have this information about me that
is it not
that was not communicated beforehand, but it's true.
He told me.
I remember growing up, and you're right. My dad is Singaporean. That he would tell me about how proud he was towards the end of the 50s. He would go to the top of what was called the Asia Life Insurance Building, which at that time at 18 floors was the tallest building in Singapore. And coincidentally, it's also owned today by our clients, CapitaLand, as well. But it's been, from that perspective, it's been an incredible personal privilege to have the opportunity to meaningfully contribute to the city of my father's youth and my own as well. So an incredible honor.
So it was a bit like coming home for you.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And how did the tropical climate influence your project?
Well, essentially, we wanted to think about the tropical climate with its heat and humidity, not as a liability, but as an asset. So a natural extension of the living spaces of the building, the working spaces of the building, so that it could really become a kind of three-dimensional intertwined park that interacts with a new kind of vertical urbanism that essentially takes all of the parts of a living city, the offices, the apartments, the hawker center, which is like an open-air food court, retail, and takes it all together and combines it into one, again, vertical living city.
And there's a lot of green in the high rise, so it contributes to the to a good microclimate in the city.
Yes, and we actually have 140% green ratio, which means that we have 40% more plants and biodiversity than you would have on the site if it was just left as a green park.
Thank you. Jakob van Rijs for the Shenzhen Women and Children's Center. How was it not to tear down the existing high-rise, which is usually the case in China?
Yeah, this is a very new building. It's from '94, and it's really, you could say it's a bad building because it was never really officially completely used. Some of the floors were never allowed because there were some issues with the regulations. And there was a competition about what to do with the building, and it was also open. You could demolish it, you could half demolish it, and together with our client Shimyup Group, we decided to keep it and see how we could improve it and give it a second life.
And how was it for you to work on a project in such a mega city as Shenzhen?
Yeah, it's a fascinating place because it's such a young city. It's only less than 50 years old and is now already one of the biggest metropolises, you could say. So the speed was there, crazy, and that also meant that the quality was not always first.
Okay.
And I think, with this, I think there's so many buildings in the world that are like this. So you could say there's so many ugly buildings, and yet today we are more aware of the fact that we have to keep them. So we have the Abrissverbot. You all know that probably. This discussion that's very active in Germany, and as architects we have to think about that. How can we transform buildings that nobody likes to keep and that everybody wants to get rid of? And so no, let's try to do something exciting. And I think this is an example of that with an existing building, you can have lots of fun.
Thank you. Sven Torrissen for the Valley in Amsterdam. Is it now new Dutch design to build artificial mountains to climb over? Was this your idea, or did the client want something crazy, absolutely crazy?
It was a competition, so that is the result of a competition. The city of Amsterdam wanted something very special there. It is the central business district of Amsterdam, and basically you see a whole row of special buildings. BRG is present there as well. So basically it's also the task of the city planners to have an ambition for a certain area, and to also give the developer, but also the architect, the freedom, but also push a bit to have a building like this.
And what was the biggest challenge in realizing such an extraordinary project?
Scaffolding. Scaffolding is very, very tricky if you have so many cantilevers coming out.
Okay. And did you feel the pressure because it was so extraordinary? Did you feel some inner pressure to get this right?
No, we wanted to get it right. So the pressure basically was on the developer. The first meeting after we won the competition was with the project manager of the developer, and who said, "Well, let's straighten that out a bit." And obviously, we didn't want that, and the city of Amsterdam didn't want that. So basically, we forced him, or he was forced to admit to our design. And in the end, he made a wonderful building out of that.
So if it was to me to decide, I'd give you all the prize. It's not on me, but thank you very much. Our 5 finalists, thank you so much. And with that, the moment has come. The announcement of the winner of the International High Rise Award 2024-2025. And for this, I would like, he's just coming. Thankfully, he's just coming. Dr. Matthias Danne.
So I have to look where I
we have
stand.
to, yes, yes.
You have to.
That's our spot, that's our spot. You now have the honor of announcing the winner of this year's International High Rise Award.
Thank you, and I'm so excited. I would like to know who it is, and let's look at it. The winner is Capita Spring, Singapore.
Yeah.
BIG and CRA. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you. And the following 8 minutes belong to the winner of this year's International High Rise Award and the project for which he's being honored, summarized in a film portrait that premieres today. Enjoy.
Where do culinary herbs and medicinal plants thrive best? In the tropical climate, lush greenery sprouts even on floor 51, at a height of 280 meters in the roof garden of the Capita Spring skyscraper.
Once you get the ball rolling with things, the garden does a little bit take care of itself. So then you've just got to sort of make sure to keep it tight, just stay on top of things, obviously stay on top of weeds, things grow like crazy. The good things and the bad things.
A public park has been created on top of Singapore's second tallest building, accessible to all. A place that has become a tourist attraction in its own right.
I love the place. I've been up here 8 or 9 times because I used to work here in Singapore. I've recommended it to all my friends. Some didn't even know the building existed. They were all very happy up here.
A green high-rise building in the center of Singapore's central business district. A landmark to represent, sure, but above all a building in which people work and live. A building that is open to its immediate surroundings and to people. Public space. This aspect is of central importance to Singapore's Urban Planning Authority.
And you know, in Singapore, we are very land scarce. And we think that every piece of land should be properly optimized in terms of the land use. So we said, can you also put in your redevelopment, privately owned public space, or POPs. And we have an incentive scheme for that. We do not calculate that space as a GFA or gross floor area, so the developer would not lose any lettable space. So we said, please put in a POP space. Then I think we got a bit more ambitious, if I may say so, and we said, I think, the road in front of your development, I think we can pedestrianize it. Could you do that for us as well?
Building owner Capita Land has implemented these specifications. Originally, there was a 10-story car park with a hawker center here. Typical for Singapore, a building with many small stalls offering excellent food at very reasonable prices. The Capita Spring Tower now also houses a busy hawker center on 2 floors.
The other thing is that we said, wow, okay, they are going to do a high-rise tower instead of the original 10-story car park. I think that will be nice to contribute to our Singapore skyline. And we encourage BIG, Bjarke Ingels Architect, to stretch their imagination. And I think they came up with a wonderful scheme. And right on top, at the top of the tower, is a beautiful sky garden. And this is also part of our requirement for developments in the CBD, that you must put in what we call landscape replacement areas. Conceptually, every square meter of land that you build on, you have to put in the same amount of GFA in terms of the floor area for landscape areas. So for example, they can put in a sky terrace or a sky garden, in which In this case, they did both.
Copenhagen, Denmark Harbor. This is where the architects from BIG, Bjarke Ingels Group, work. BIG has already won the skyscraper prize 8 years ago. Here they know how to bring urban qualities to the vertical, how to turn a skyscraper into a good neighbor.
A building has a reason for being, and that's because someone needs to do something. They need to accommodate places to live or places to work or whatever the function of the building is. But then, of course, the building somehow becomes part of a neighborhood. And if each building would only take care of itself, you would end up with an almost poor or impoverished city. But whereas if each building somehow contributes not only to its inner needs, but also to its surroundings, bit by bit, building by building, we end up, in a way, living in the city of our dreams.
An architecture firm from Europe's cool north is planning a skyscraper in the tropics. In Singapore's very humid and warm climate, the quality of the building depends even more on how it manages to combine indoor and outdoor spaces.
Instead of the issue we have here of how we make greenery grow in buildings, the challenge is maybe the opposite. It's more how do you stop greenery from growing on buildings. But it also means you can sit outside and enjoy that environment of working. So the level of this section in the middle of the green oasis sits just above the level of most of the adjacent context. It means that even though you sit outside, you have ventilation and breeze that carries all the way through, which removes a lot of the humidity in the air, which is traditionally one of the factors that has stopped people from sitting and working outside, just the fact that it's very high humidity and very high temperature.
Developer CapitaLand is Singapore's most important property developer and investor. The company has already realized a number of high-rise buildings in the heart of the city-state. Capita Spring is intended to be more than just a classic office building.
CapitaLand and its partner have envisioned Capita Spring to be a vibrant vertical community that offers flexible, sustainable, and technology-enabled workspaces, integrated with other commercial and social spaces that will foster a sense of community in the CBD. Together with the active placemaking initiative, we want to build a vertical, vibrant, work-live-play community that will attract forward-thinking companies and their employees. We also noticed that there is a lack of usable, green, and naturally ventilated spaces within CBD. As such, we focus our inspirations on bringing nature indoor.
This approach works. The mix of attractive office space, hotel, residential and recreational areas pays off for the investor and developer. Lessons that CapitaLand will also apply to future high-rise projects.
It makes sense to actually put together many different users in a building because, for example, an office worker can spend the morning here doing exercise here in the garden and then go straight to work. And then for lunchtime, he goes just a few doors down to the hawker center to have a great meal. And then after that, when his colleagues come over for meetings from overseas, they can stay in this hotel within this building. So everything happens within this building, and that is very efficient use of the space. So I think going forward, we can see more of such things, such developments.
Capita Spring is a tower block that lets the public in, not just for work, a high-rise that wants to be a good neighbor.
An award winner should be duly honored, and that is exactly what will happen now. The laudatory speech will be given by Marie Ransborg. She is jury member from Copenhagen, the same city where our winner is coming from. And her company, Kobe, is also an internationally successful practice that is currently working on a competition design for Frankfurt's next high-rise on the Neue Mainzer Straße. So please join me in welcoming Marie Ransborg, CEO of Kobe.
Wow, what an amazing project. It's truly brilliant. And I promise you that everyone in the jury, we all agreed when we selected this project as the best newly built high-rise in the world. This project has qualities that lift it from just a great project to becoming a winner. And the first quality is that this project solves some of the worst challenges with high-rises. Sometimes high-rises can be seen as cold or arrogant. They're closed off to the public. They add to the city skyline, but they don't always add to the people of the city. This project is different. It's inviting the public in. There's no fancy reception that you have to go through or stairs that you have to climb to get into the building. You just walk right in. There is a big food court with affordable food. There are 4 parks in the building, and on the top floor there is the rooftop garden that we saw with some of the best views. So this project really is a catalyst of public life. It really is inclusive and inviting. You can even see it in the facade that rolls aside like curtains and invites people in. In this project, the best square meters were given to all of us, to the many, not to the few. And then this project is a true collaboration. It's a co-creation between parties that is a game changer. We have a very ambitious client that are forward-looking and long-term thinking. They understand the challenges of the city. We have award-winning, world-class consultants, architects and engineers, and more. You have understood how you combine beauty with function. It's not just an elegant building, it really unlocks the potentials, the challenges of this specific site. And then we have a super clever planning authority, because the Singaporean Redevelopment Authority has been smart here. They have built in the incentives that we heard in the video. My favorite one is that when you build public areas on a privately owned land, then those public areas don't count in your GFA. Now that is super smart. And I don't think this project could have ever been done without this setup. If the city didn't build in those incentives, the client would never have built anything like that. I don't think it would be able to realize as architects a building like this if we weren't allowed to dream big. So I really think that instead of the planning authorities meeting the clients with negative rules and regulations, you are positively nudging the client and architects and others to do something that could never been done elsewhere. So we in the jury agreed that what we see now might be a paradigm shift, and we look forward to seeing what that will bring to our industry in the future. When I studied architecture, when I was young, we always learned that when we build, we have to leave a place better than what it was when we first found it. And this project does exactly that. Before Capital Spring, there was parking and a hawker market. Now you still have a hawker market. It's even better and bigger. You also have a lot of parking, but it's quite brilliantly combined with M&E and heaters and coolers. And as I understood, it's dimensioned in a way so that if we don't need parking spaces in the future, it can be converted into other usage needs. Obviously, the building also has a lot of other benefits that weren't at the site before. I'm so proud when I see this kind of courage in our industry, really proud. I think this is a courage to do things differently. It's a courage to believe and trust that even soft values like building with a social ambition and building with a green ambition can bring in solid business. Because in the jury, we trust that this building and this project will be successful for generations to come. Thank you to my fellow jury members. Thank you to each and every one of you for coming today. Thank you, DECA Bank, City of Frankfurt, and DAM. You have inspired the world for more than 20 years of how high-rises should be done. So on behalf of the jury, congratulations to all finalists and a big congratulations to the winner, Capital Spring.
Marie Ransborg, thank you so much. And for the award ceremony, I would now like to invite Mayor Mike Joseph, Dr. Matthias Danne, Dr. Ina Hartwig, Peter Katula-Schmal, and of course our winners on the stage. Eine. Was soll ich noch? Ah, danke.
OB. Who starts? Später.
Ja. So. You start.
Ich gebe es dem Bauherrn, ne? Da hinten, ganz außen. Congratulations. And this is for you. Look at this.
Yours.
And finally,
I'm afraid somebody was.
the statuette,
That is
which is quite heavy.
Don't drop.
So, and now, would you please join me in lining up for a joint photo, please? Winner in the middle, of course. Peter, you come here. And
Gregory.
So, thank you so much. This was the hardest part of all. Thank you. You managed brilliantly. And now it's to you. The stage is yours. The stage is yours for the winner's speech.
Great.
You want to put it back?
Wow, I'm not often at a loss for words, but we're so humbled and grateful for this, and maybe on behalf of Bjargen, the partners, and everyone at Big, I think the statement earlier that it is the result of a true collaboration is completely correct. To the jury, to the City of Frankfurt, DECA Bank, DAM, thank you with humble gratitude. But maybe first and foremost also to our client, Capital Land, thank you for believing in us and having the commitment to see this through, to the Urban Redevelopment Authority that has been a critical sparring partner in the realization of the building. Carlo Ratti, CRA, also represented here for being our steadfast partners throughout the process, and the very many collaborators who we've had the opportunity to work with. We've also had the privilege of winning this award in 2016 for West 57th on the West Side Highway in New York, which at the time for us was an experiment of merging a kind of traditional European courtyard block with the American skyscraper to see what could emerge. And in a way, this project is very important for us as an extension of thinking about how we can bring social and community spaces into the cities in which we're so fortunate to find ourselves. So in this case, really thinking about the vertical urbanism of a city like Singapore and how we can really think through, again, bringing all of the parts of a living city into one building intertwined with three-dimensional parks where, again, the tropical climate that's typically seen as a liability becomes an asset instead. And we're so grateful also for the nature of this award and how it reflects on the importance of high-rises in the world in which we find ourselves, where above all, it should be a good neighbor, it should be a contributor to the vibrancy and the vital life of the city. Thank you so much again, with very, very humble gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now I would like to ask the client to join me on stage. Gregory Chua, CapitaLand Singapore. Stage is yours.
Good evening, Mayor of City of Frankfurt, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the team of Capital Spring, I would like to thank DMA, City of Frankfurt, Deka Bank, the juries over here, for such prestigious award for Capital Spring. Thank you. The journey from design conceptualizations to project implementations to completion was not an easy process, especially as we are navigating through all the construction hurdles during COVID-19. And working within the constraints of Singapore's congested CBD. Thanks to the commitment and the devotions of the team in the first place, we are able to deliver such amazing developments. I still remember back in 2015, CapitaLand and our partners, Mitsubishi Estate, partner with BIG in collaborations with CRA in order for us to be delivering such a high-rise building within Singapore was not easy. Together with the group of devoted as well as dedicated consultants and engineers, we embarked on this particular journey to be changing the skyline of Singapore by constructing a 280 meters high building that is one of the tallest in Singapore. So looking back right now, we have fulfilled our vision of creating a work, live, play vertical city comprising of workplace of the future, service residence, a BioPhilips urban garden that is open to public and offers the CBD workers a more usable, well-ventilated green areas, and that's throughout the day. We have also very gladly brought back a UNESCO-recognized hawker culture back into Capital Spring. With this hawker center, is able to provide economical food for Capital Spring's user and the CBD workers around that particular neighborhood. So Capital Spring, actually it is not just a multi-integrated development, but ultimately we also create a sustainable, innovative platform that allows the occupants to be creating, connecting, and collaborating while we are providing in terms of additional third dimensional spaces for the neighborhood. So it is a huge shout out to the team members who have contributed for the success for the project, from development management, project management, leasing, operation. I would like to extend especially our appreciation to our designers, BIG and CRA, and of course our Singapore urban planners itself, for pushing us really hard in the first place to be coming out with this particular product. And of course, not forgetting the rest of the contractors, consultants, who have put in lots of effort in developing the project despite of the challenges of COVID-19. It is my privilege and my team's privilege to be working with such dedicated and devoted team like BIG and Kalarati as well. CapitaLand is committed to continue developing, operating quality spaces for work, live, play through sustainable as well as innovative solutions, contributing positively to the markets that we have presence in. With that, thank you, and it's our honor to be receiving this particular prestigious award. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And let me just add this, the prize money goes to the CapitaLand Hope Foundation. The foundation supports communities where CapitaLand is active, and it does it through initiatives in the areas of education, health, and well-being that are aimed at children, young people, and senior citizens. And we will end this evening as it began, with music played once again by Sebastian Wieland. He will interpret the work Nagoya Marimba by the American composer Steve Reich in its old form from 1994 with improvisational and contemporary means. Enjoy.
Vielen Dank, Sebastian Wieland.
Wieland, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, so we have the two gentlemen here on stage. They've prepared something. An era is closing. Silke Schuster-Müller, where are you? Silke Schuster-Müller, please join us here on stage. Don't hide. Don't hide. A very warm welcome here on stage. Ladies and gentlemen. Dear colleague, my dear colleague, Silke Schuster-Müller is the person who invented the high-rise award. And she is the inventor. She invented it. It's her idea. And she had to fight for it. She had to fight for this award, so we are cooperating so harmoniously and peacefully. That's not the only thing she did. She did so many good things in our society commitment. Why are we having her on stage? Maybe this year is the last year that Silke Schuster-Müller will be responsible for this event together with her team. And for me, it is reason enough to say thank you so much, a big thank you. Peter Kaula-Schmal would say, Silke, 18 years of great cooperation. We've experienced a lot with our cities, with our winning teams, with our projects, with the development of this award. And we learned a lot of each other's worlds. Asset management is not exactly what the Architecture Museum is doing every day. Different worlds meet. We learned from each other. And that was an enrichment for our work. We've grown and learned. And this cooperation will grow in the future. Absolutely. First, we would like to give you the flowers. Microphone and the flowers. You will get a microphone too. Okay. It is great. This is like a baby. And to see it grow, seeing it after 20 years, that it works, that more and more people enjoy it and love it, that it continues. I hope it'll continue for the next 20 years to come. Maybe not with all the acting people that you've known, but with younger people, with new people. And I hope that we've created a very stable foundation to continue and that the city of Frankfurt will continue to enjoy, DK will enjoy this award. I'm very close to DK and this project is dear to my heart. I am so happy to see what this award has grown into.
Stay with me on stage. Stay with me, because this is the great finale, and that was the award ceremony for the 11th International High-Rise Award here in the Paulskirche in Frankfurt. We've not only seen happy winners, but 5 wonderful, really wonderful finalists with forward-looking visionary high-rise projects. And we have learned that the high-rise of the future is a place worth living in, sustainable, versatile, surprising, and beautiful, really beautiful to look at. I wish the architects, the planners and builders the courage to continue their path, and may your creativity never ever run dry. And if you want to take a close look at all the projects, not only of the finalists, but of all the nominees, you will have the opportunity to do so from tomorrow on. That's when the exhibition for the International High-Rise Award 2024-25 opens at 7 p.m. at Museum Angewandte Kunst, in which the projects are documented with models, with large format photos, with drawings, texts, films, the complete portfolio. A visit is hereby warmly recommended. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much for being with us here in the Paulskirche or via live stream. DECA now invites you to a small drink where you, of course, can continue to network and exchange your ideas. We will see each other again in 2 years at the latest. And until then, stay safe and take care. Thank you. And finally, I ask all winners, all finalists, Mike Josef, please, Dr. Ina Hartwig, Dr. Dunn is already here, Mr. Schmal is here to come together for one joint photo. The jury, all finalists, the winners, come on stage.